So it's come to this. Another video of me talking about Dora the Explorer. I know a lot of YouTubers have like a shtick that they like to do, and I seriously hope this does not become mine. So, quick rundown for those who don't know. A while back I made a video talking about the most insane Dora the Explorer episode, Sticky Tape, and how it was quite possibly written by somebody from an insane asylum. And then I made another video talking about a Dora the Explorer episode that was pretty generic for the first half, but the last half had actually a decent song when the tree frog that they rescue is singing his song in front of his friends, and it was actually a nice song. And now we have another episode that we're going to talk about. So before I tell you what this episode is, I want to make it clear why I have chosen this episode for my third Dora video. So, Sticky Tape, as I've already said, is the most insane Dora the Explorer episode, and I watched it a lot as a kid for some reason on a VHS tape called Dora Swingin' Action. But for those who don't know much about Dora VHS tapes, they always have 2 episodes instead of 1. So I figured if there are 2 episodes on this VHS tape, maybe the second one will be just as insane and just as crazy as Sticky Tape was. Well, the episode that shares a VHS tape with Sticky Tape almost comes close to dethroning it. Like, it's not crazy, but oh gosh, it deserves another video. So, like last time, I can't show you clips because Paramount sucks when it comes to copyright, and I'm literally recording this off of my phone, so I don't have any editing software. So, like last time, you gotta look at me, the live-action version of the turtle from Robin Hood, talk about an old episode of Dora the Explorer. And like last time, I will include major spoilers. But, honestly, I need to debate, does it actually count if I'm spoiling something that came out like 25 years ago? Okay, whatever, you've been warned. So, the episode that shares a VHS tape with Sticky Tape is called Berry Hunt. So, it starts off with Dora talking to the audience like,
Hola, soy Dora. Do you like snacks?
And then she reveals that her mom gave her a couple of blueberries. She painstakingly counts the blueberries and then eats them. And here's where we get one of the first recurring problems of this episode. There are a few, I'm not going to say animation consistencies, because animation-wise, Dora is actually kind of nice, especially the backgrounds. The backgrounds in the early seasons of Dora look like they were hand-painted, just like the backgrounds in Lilo and Stitch, and they are really pleasant to look at. But there are times when the animation gets a little, awkward. So we're going to count all the awkwardmations in this episode, starting with the first one when Dora eats the blueberries, and she goes, and it looks very odd. Then Boots comes in, he asks if he can have some blueberries. Dora says, sorry, I ate them all, but hey, we can go get some more blueberries. Okay, so are they going to go to their mom's house to go get some more blueberries? Nope, they're going to go off on their own, unsupervised, to pick blueberries. Oh, whatever. It's never explained in the actual series why Dora goes off on her own without her parents, but I digress. So she goes to the backpack to find a little blue pail, even though there is a bigger blue pail that could probably hold more blueberries that you can eat, but nitpick. The map reveals that they gotta go to a place called Blueberry Hill, they gotta cross something called the Icy Cold River, and then something called the Prickly Forest. Make as many innuendos as you can with that, and then finally to Blueberry Hill. Okay, so this just sounds like a normal Dora episode, right? Well, there's one teensy little catch. Swiper the Fox happens to live on Blueberry Hill. So technically, Dora and Boots are stealing. They're going to go up and steal his blueberries. I'd like to remind you this show was on Nickelodeon, the same channel that allowed that creep Dan Schneider to get a couple shows of his own. But okay, so they go off, come on, Dominus, everybody, let's go. And then they get to their first pit stop, which is, of course, the Icy Cold River. And here's where we get awkward animation number 2. Or at least, this is just a minor detail. Dora is set in Central and South America, right? And yet, there are floating chunks of ice in that river. I don't know if you've ever been to like Mexico, Central, or South America, but it is hot there. Even the water, it feels a little steamy. So there is no possible way that there could be floating chunks of ice in a river that is set like right near the equator. But okay, they row off, they're rowing and rowing, and they get past the icy cold river. They go off on their next pit.
Come on, Dominoes. Everybody, let's go.
They sing an additional song.
We're going on a berry hunt. We're gonna pick some juicy ones.
It's pretty annoying. We finally get to the prickly forest, which is just basically a giant wall of cacti blocking their way. So, how are they going to get past this one? Well, thankfully, the Geico gecko shows them that they can swing on a vine just over it like Tarzan. I'm not even kidding. There's a little lizard. It looks like the Geico gecko. They look at it. He swings on a vine like Tarzan over this wall of cacti, and they figure, okay, we'll do that. So, of course, they swing. They go,
we're going on a berry hunt.
They finally get to Blueberry Hill, and then we get My Nightmares Tonight. Because Dora has a consistency of putting faces on things that should not have faces. Last episode, I talked about how the Echo Bush was pretty terrifying. Well, here we get a demon gate that's blocking Blueberry Hill with a creepy face, a high-pitched voice that only speaks Spanish, so of course they have to say abre. And when I was doing a watch party with a couple of my friends in this episode, they were as terrified as I was.
Habla español!
I mean, this thing is terrifying. I mean, I wish I could show you what it looks like, but of course, screw you, Paramount, because you cannot allow copyright or all that crap. So they're finally going up Blueberry Hill as loudly as possible, and I'm not sure how Swiper does not even hear them going up. But they finally make it to the top, and we get awkward-mation number 3, the blueberries. So, a shout out to Star Sailor X, who pointed this out during the watch party. The blueberries on one bush were evenly aligned, and they weren't hand-painted like the other background blueberries. They were more hand-drawn. I know that's kind of a thing with animation, but come on, you can't make it that obvious. Dora points out that you gotta be quiet because we don't want Swiper to hear us picking his blueberries. And I do want to emphasize his blueberries. They do not ask Swiper if they can pick blueberries there. They are stealing. So, Dora is committing an act of theft. They painstakingly count to 15 blueberries softly. Then Swiper finally peeps out of his foxhole, is rightfully angry that they're stealing his blueberries, but just when he goes up to him, of course they do the Swiper no swiping bit, and we get awkward-mation number 4. When Swiper gives up, he jumps back in his hole, is facing vertically at the camera, his nose is pointing down, with the look like... It is so laughable, and I just bursted out laughing when that happened. I mean, how can the animators not think that that shot was funny? So, okay, Dora and Boots have committed an act of theft, and they're eating the blueberries that are technically Swipers, and that's the end of the episode, right? There are 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left of the runtime. What are you going to do in 5 minutes? You've already gotten to your place. You've already defeated Swiper. You've gotten your blueberries, which I do want to remind for the umpteenth time are his. What else are you going to do for those last 5 minutes? You have a pretty good run time. Oh, I have a treat for you. For those of you watching at home, do me a favor. Put this video in full screen right now. And also, turn the volume all the way up. And if you have any friends or family with them, make sure you get them here. Because what I'm about to describe you, this needs attention. So, okay, you got the video in full screen? You got the volume all the way up? The last 5 minutes of this episode is a chase scene between Dora and Boots and a giant purple bear. I'm going to repeat that. The last 5 minutes is a chase scene between Dora and Boots and a giant purple bear. Who is this purple bear? I don't know. Why is he chasing after them? I don't know. Yet this is treated as a serious, tense moment. The music is playing very fast. He's chasing them all the way back to the start, including through the prickly forest and the icy cold river. You can literally just cut this scene out and you'd have a pretty good runtime. Why they're doing this, I don't know. My jaw was on the floor when I saw this. I mean, what does it have to do with the story of picking berries? They never talked about a bear before, let alone a giant purple one who can talk. No wonder this was on the same VHS tape that Sticky Tape had. I mean, this is bonkers, like absolute bonkers. But of course, it's a tense moment. They're running back down the hill. They got to go right through the prickly forest again on the vines. They got to row right past the icy cold river, which again still has floating chunks of ice in it in South America. And the bear's chasing after them. The music's playing very fast. And all the time I'm thinking, what am I watching? Really, no. Why do I do this? What am I watching? Why is this playing? It has nothing to do with the story. And right at the end, right when they get past the icy cold river, they apparently rode too fast that the bear just gives up and goes home. I'm losing my mind. Because, like I've said, you could have just cut this out. You could have a pretty good runtime for the episode, but no! They stretch it out with not only pointless filler, but insane pointless filler. I'm starting to realize maybe Dora the Explorer is just an insane show and I'm the first person in this world to realize this. But of course, now the episode ends. They eat the blueberries. They sing the We Did It song for successfully stealing. And I am going to have a nice long rest after that. Because, oh my gosh. So I will admit, it's not as crazy as Sticky Tape, and thank goodness for that. But still, how did this thing air on Nickelodeon, let alone Nick Jr.? Maybe this just requires a whole deep dive. Maybe I have to watch the entire season 1 of Dora again and see if maybe the writers were just on serious shrooms when they wrote this. But anyway, that's it. I probably will not be making a 4th Dora episode for a long, long time because these always hurt my brain. So that's it. I'm finally done rambling. You can go do something useful with your life. And I probably will in just a few minutes. Bye.